Between darkness and light, I will always walk, and wherever I will go, I will open up the window of light, and I will plant the seeds of love. I will open up the window of light, and I will plant the seeds of love. Between darkness and light, I will always walk, and wherever I will go, I will open up the window of light, and I will plant the seeds of love. I will open up the window of light, and I will plant the seeds of love.
When we hear scripture, sometimes it helps to think about which character, especially in these stories of Jesus, which character do I feel most like right now? And to think of it from different perspectives. So I want you to think about the three main characters: the father, the older son, the one who stayed home. And Kim, I love the way you emphasized, and it said, and he was angry. He was angry. And the younger son. And I'm going to play a little video of the scripture, because I don't know about you, but it helps me to hear it several times and to sometimes to see it in different ways. And think about if there's one of these characters that you feel the most connected to. Okay, it might be that older son who had done all of the right things, and he was frustrated that his brother had a party for him when he had gone and messed up. You might feel like the younger son, like you've done some things, mistakes or things that you want forgiveness from, and maybe you've received that forgiveness, or maybe you're asking for it. Or you might feel like the Father sometimes, that the being generous with your love and forgiving someone else. I know when you live in community, there's lots of opportunities to forgive, isn't there? So let's look at, think about it in those terms and think of which of these characters you feel the most like.
While Jesus was on earth, he taught everyone about God's love. He healed many people from their sickness, performed many miracles like calming storms, and even raised people from the dead.
Wahoo!
Jesus taught everyone about God's love. All kinds of people would come to hear Jesus speak, including tax collectors and people who made bad choices. This made the Pharisees and Jewish leaders mad.
Yuck.
They didn't think that Jesus should be around these kind of people. So Jesus told them this story. A man had 2 sons. The younger son told his father,
Excuse me?
I want my share of your estate now, before you die.
Okay.
So his father agreed and gave his son his inheritance.
Woohoo!
A few days later, this younger son packed all his belongings
See ya.
and moved to a distant land. And there he wasted all his money in wild living.
Huh?
About the time his money ran out, a great famine swept over the land,
Aw, man.
and he began to starve.
Hey, you.
He convinced a local farmer to hire him,
Thank you.
and the man sent him into his fields to feed the pigs. The young man became so hungry that even the food he was feeding the pigs looked good to him. But no one gave him anything. Finally, he said to himself, "At home, even the servants have food enough to spare, and here I'm dying of hunger.
I know.
I will go home to my father and apologize and ask him to take me on as a servant." So he returned home to his father. And while he was still a long way off, his father saw him coming. Filled with love and compassion, he ran to his son.
Son!
His son said to him, "Father, I have sinned against both heaven and you, and I am no longer worthy of being called your son." But his father said to the servants, "Quick, bring the finest robe in the house and put it on him. Get a ring for his finger and sandals for his feet, and kill the calf we have been fattening. We must celebrate with a feast, for this son of mine was dead and now has returned to life. He was lost, but now he is found." So the party began.
All right, yeah.
Meanwhile, the older son was in the fields working. When he returned home, he heard music and dancing in the house,
Huh? Hey, you.
and he asked one of the servants what was going on. "Your brother is back," he was told, "and your father has killed the fattened calf. We are celebrating because of his safe return."
Woohoo! All right, party time. All right, yahoo!
The older brother was angry and wouldn't go in. His father came out and begged him,
Oh, man.
but he replied, "All these years I've slaved for you and never once refused to do a single thing you told me to. And in all that time you never gave me even one young goat for a feast with my friends. Yet when this son of yours comes back after wasting your money, you celebrate by giving him a great feast." His father said to him, "Look, dear son, you have always stayed by me, and everything I have is yours. We had to celebrate this happy day. For your brother was dead and has come back to life. He was lost, but now he is found."
Okay. So that kind of gives me at least a little bit more ability to connect with the characters. And I'm going to put my screen so I can see all of you. And let's just see if you can show, raise your hand or wave if you felt more like the younger brother, if you related more to the younger brother. Just give us a little wave. Okay, I see Justin and Judith, Lisbeth, Trish.
I feel like there's love and kindness.
You felt love and kindness.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, because that's really what this story is about. It's about God's love and kindness. How many of you felt like you could relate to the Father? Give us a rest. See Stephen and Kim. That's right. Sometimes we have to, especially in community, practice forgiveness a lot. And we have to let go of things, even if things that have hurt us, and offer forgiveness. So what about anyone that felt connected to the older brother? That was me. Clara, Carol Ann, and yeah, sometimes it's hard. And I know I have a lot of those feelings, especially right now with the pandemic. It's when a lot of us have all done the right thing, and other people are not using safe practices and are making the virus spread. And especially when I think about all of you in large homes, and how hard it is to be isolated when you're living together. So that's how I related to the older brother. And so that can change from time to time. And in these three characters, we have a lot of our human experience, both sometimes when we do things that are hurtful to others, or maybe make choices that aren't even good for ourselves. Sometimes when we need forgiveness, we have to ask for forgiveness, like the younger brother. Sometimes when we're like the father, sometimes it's, it didn't show this part, but can you imagine how the father was feeling while the son was gone, not knowing what he was experiencing, not knowing if he was okay, not knowing if he was making good choices or not. And then sometimes we're like the older brother. We do everything. We do all the things we're supposed to do. And then sometimes we can feel a little jealous, is what I feel, jealous or angry when other people make mistakes and then receive forgiveness. Isn't that a funny thing about our humanity? But in the end, this story is about God. Do you remember at the beginning when it said Jesus is teaching and all the people came to hear him, including people that made bad choices? I love the way they put that. And there were some that didn't like that. They didn't like to be around other people that weren't like them. They didn't like to be around certain kinds of people that they had been told were not as valuable, that were not as valuable in the world as they are. And so Jesus tells this story. And he tells the story. Each of the characters tell us something about our humanity, because each of us could connect with one of them. And you might, another time, the next time you hear this story, it might be a different character you relate to more, depending on what's happening in your life and where you are in your spiritual journey. But the story really is about God, is about what God does and the way that God brings in everyone even that older brother that's angry, even that younger brother that made mistakes, even the servants. I mean, God makes it all part of his great big party. And that story makes me think so much about L'Arche and the way that L'Arche brings so many different kinds of people together. And when you live together the way you do in community, most of us experience all of those different perspectives from time to time. And we're each those characters in different phases of life, but God welcomes us all in. And that's why Jesus told the story, because there were people that only wanted to be around certain kinds of people. And that's a very dangerous thing in our world. And Jesus is pointing to God's love and the way that God brings everyone in. So I hope that the story can help you wherever you are, whichever character you related to have some grace. And it can also help you embrace the love that God has for you and the love that God has for your neighbor, your housemate, your friend, your family member, because God's love is bigger than any of us. And so hopefully this story can bring us all, wherever we are, can bring us a little closer into that wonderful, big, inclusive love of God.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Well, the other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamt I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, there you were resting. Now all our days are warm and calm. Well, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Well, I'll always love you and make you happy. I know that you will do the same. I'll never leave you. I'll always love you, even on all rainy days. For you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when the skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away.